If you've ever heard, I just need time, or I don't know what I want right now, and felt your stomach drop, stay with me. Because what you do in the first 48 hours after she says she's confused will either restore attraction or destroy it completely. Jessica OS here. Welcome to my channel. I've got a plethora of relationship videos from men. If you're new here, please feel free to look around. And remember, this is the only channel I have, Jessica OS. So always check out the channel name to be sure this advice is coming from me. In the video today, I'm going to break down what I'm confused really means in dating and relationships, why men panic and make it worse, and exactly what to do immediately instead. By the end of this, you'll know how to respond to a confused woman in a way that increases your respect and attraction. If you're serious about leveling up your dating, confidence, and understanding female psychology, then this is one of those conversations that you need to hear through all the way. Number one, understand what I'm confused actually signals. When a woman says she's confused, what she's really communicating is internal hesitation. Now, hesitation isn't random. It's a response to how she currently perceives you, right? How she sees you, how she sees the relationship, and her other options. Now, you need to understand that confusion is rarely about chaos in her life. It's usually about clarity in her evaluation. Women move towards certainty when they feel three things: emotional safety, respect, and excitement. When one of those pillars weaken, doubt will start to creep in. And doubt, when it cannot justify itself logically, essentially gets labeled as confusion. Now think about this carefully. Has her behavior shifted before she said she was confused? Did her response time change? Did her enthusiasm drop? Did she stop initiating? That shift almost always precedes the statement. Confusion is not the first sign. It's the verbal confirmation of something that already shifted internally. A lot of guys hear, "I'm confused," and interpret it literally. They assume that she's wrestling with this complex thought. But attraction isn't a math equation. It's instinctive. It's emotional. When attraction is high, there's very little confusion. When attraction dips, her brain starts looking for justification. She might say she needs space. She might say the timing feels off. She might say she has a lot going on. And those reasons, for the most part, sound valid, right? But I can tell you that underneath all of them is a simpler truth. Her emotional certainty about you has weakened. I'll tell you something. Confusion is frequently a soft evaluation period. She's asking herself, is this the best I can do? Am I settling too fast? Do I feel that spark strongly enough? What else might be out there? This doesn't automatically mean that another man is involved. It does mean that she's assessing options, right? And options will create hesitation when commitment doesn't feel compelling enough. In relationships, there's a dynamic tension between pursuit and selection. When you pursue too intensely and she doesn't feel like she has to earn or protect your attention, the emotional polarity will shift. You become the one chasing stability, and she becomes the one deciding. Confusion often appears when she feels the power imbalance tilt in her favor. Let me challenge you with something. If she said she was confused and you immediately felt fear of losing her, that fear probably leaked into the relationship before she ever verbalized it. As women, we're extremely sensitive to emotional undercurrents. Even subtle neediness from guys registers. And this is why men who look perfect on paper still hear, "I'm confused." It's not about income or your height and things like that. It's about how she feels around you. Does she feel like she's choosing a man, or does she feel like she's managing one? Understanding the signal behind the words, in my opinion, is the first step. What you do next is where men either collapse or level up. Point 2. Do not try to fix her feelings. A lot of guys sabotage themselves here. They believe that if they can logically explain their value, she'll suddenly get the clarity that she needs. But attraction isn't built through explanation, it's built through perception. When you respond to her confusion with panic, long emotional speeches, or constant reassurance, you're signaling something dangerous. You signal fear of loss. Fear of loss, when displayed too openly, lowers your perceived value. Imagine this. A man who's calm, grounded, and knows his worth hears, "I'm confused." He doesn't spiral or interrogate. He doesn't chase. His internal reaction is simple. Well, if you're unsure about me, that's information. Now, contrast that with a guy who sends 5 texts in a row asking what changed. Which guy feels more secure? Which man feels more rare? Now, instead of asking, how do I make her less confused? I need you to ask, why am I trying to convince someone to choose me? That shift alone changes your posture. And posture in a relationship is everything. If you're getting value from this, please subscribe, because I break down attraction dynamics like this in a way that most people won't say out loud. Point 3, withdraw the extra energy immediately. When she says she's confused, your move is not to lean in, it's to recalibrate. Don't punish, don't ghost dramatically. Simply match her energy and redirect yours back to your life. Now, this is where emotional polarity comes in. You see, polarity in this context is the tension created by certainty versus uncertainty. Okay. If she feels uncertain and you respond with over certainty and over pursuit, the dynamic becomes lopsided. You're chasing clarity and she's evaluating. But when you calmly step back and say something like, hey, I understand. Take the time you need. I only invest where it's mutual. You flip the script. Now she feels the possibility of losing access to you. Let me be clear. This isn't a game. It's all about boundaries. A high-value man doesn't compete for a position that should be offered freely. He doesn't. Neither does he beg to be chosen. What he does is create space and let reality reveal itself. And here's what often happens. When you stop over-functioning, she either leans back in because she feels a shift, or she drifts away because she was never fully invested. Either outcome gives you clarity. And guess what? Both outcomes protect your dignity. Ask yourself, are you trying to be chosen or are you choosing? The answer to that question makes a world of difference. Point 4, accept that confusion is often a soft exit. I'm confused is not a phase. It's not a temporary emotional fluctuation. It's a polite, socially acceptable way of stepping away without confrontation. And if you're a man who values clarity, you need to be emotionally strong enough to recognize that possibility without collapsing. What I'm about to say next is very, very important, and I need you to hear me. Most women can't deal with any kind of conflict when it comes to romantic dynamics. We don't want to be seen as harsh or deal with backlash that could, happen, or pleading or emotional pressure from you. So instead of saying, I'm not that attracted anymore, we soften it. We say things like, oh, I just need time. I don't know what I want, right? We say things like, I'm confused about my feelings. And saying things like that sounds temporary. It sounds unresolved. It keeps the door open slightly, and we know that. But the truth is, when someone's genuinely excited about you, they don't need distance to figure it out. Attraction clarifies. Indifference confuses. Let that sink in. You see, the word confused creates hope. It feels reversible. It feels like something that you can fix. So what do men do? They wait, they check in, they stay available, they keep that emotional seat warm in case she comes back. The problem is, though, if she's slowly exiting and you remain on standby, you communicate that you will accept being an option. And the minute you do that, you lose leverage. Please ask yourself honestly, if she were afraid of losing you, would she be confused? Or would she secure her position? Confusion often exists because she believes you'll be there. Observe behavior, not words. This is where maturity shows up. Instead of dissecting her language, observe her behavior. Is she making plans? Is she initiating? Is she showing effort? Or has communication become reactive and distant? If effort declines consistently, that's not confusion, it's withdrawal, guys. And here's a simple rule you have to adopt. Believe patterns and not promises. A single emotional conversation means nothing if daily behavior shows she's detached. If she says she's confused but still invests, that's one scenario. If she says she's confused and simultaneously pulls back, stops initiating, and becomes inconsistent, that is a soft exit, unfolding in slow motion. You don't need to interrogate her to confirm it. You simply need to observe. Interrogation will lower attraction because it exposes fear. It communicates, I need reassurance to feel stable, right? And once you're asking for reassurance from someone who's already uncertain about you, you accelerate the exit. Instead, your posture must shift from fear to self-respect. Not anger, not coldness, self-respect. And that means you calmly accept what her behavior is showing you. If her confusion turns into distance, your response should be simple and composed. You say something like, I understand, and I'm not looking to force anything. I just want certainty. And if that's not where you are, I respect it. And then you actually mean it. This is the difference between men who maintain attraction and those who beg for it. When you remove yourself with dignity, two things can happen. She realizes she misjudged your value and re-engages, or she continues drifting away. Either way, hear me, you win, because clarity is power. Guys, I guess what I'm trying to say is the deeper lesson here is not about her confusion, it's about your standards. If you operate from the belief that any single woman is your only shot at happiness, you'll tolerate ambiguity far longer than you should. But if you operate from a place of abundance, from self-development, from grounded confidence, confusion will feel like information and not a threat. You'll stop trying to rescue situations that are naturally dissolving. Because you see, the right woman won't need to be convinced. She'll feel certainty because of your presence, your boundaries, your stability, and make that decision easy. If she's confused long-term, she's not your woman. The moment she says she's confused, ask yourself one grounded question. If nothing changed from this point forward, will I feel respected? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. Accept the possibility that confusion is an exit. Maintain your dignity, redirect your focus, strengthen your life. Men who cannot let go chase clarity. Men who understand their value create it. And that difference changes everything. Hey, do me a favor. Watch my next video on how men accidentally train women to take them for granted. Because sometimes the confusion started with habits that you didn't even realize you were lowering your value for. Stay sharp. Jessica OS here. Catch you in the next video.